Hey everyone, it is Dr. Freeman again. And so here for today's session, I'm going to, in a way, kind of work you through the activity that we have for you on Thursday. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm sharing my screen, okay? And so this was the activity I was talking about. So here's the thing I want y'all to do. First, I want you to create an account on Canva, and here's the link to follow. And then once you create the account and you go for the prompts and everything, then here is what I want you to do. Okay, this is what Canva should look like when you open it, when you're on your home page. So go to marketing right here. Now you can do print products if you want to. Also, you can do presentations, social media. You can also do book covers, graphs, desktop wallpaper. You got a lot of options here, but I want you to go to marketing and then go to poster. Okay. And so you have all of these options right here. For example, you have, you can do a COVID-19 poster. Well, it's actually for Canva Pro, which is an extra cost. But for example, let's say for you, elements of art. So color, texture, line, shape, and actually you can manipulate these as much as you want. You can go in and you can type what you want. But you can also use the Command Z and Command C and Command V option as well. But what I want y'all to do is to design a magazine cover. So here's one of the ones I did. Oops. Here's one of the ones I did for y'all. Just an example, only took a few minutes to do because Canva is kind of like it's a very nice software program, and it's an open source, so anybody can use it. And it's kind of like a few tiers below InDesign. So InDesign is actually a program that I really like to use. So if you type in InDesign in my on my Spyglass, I already have it downloaded on my laptop because I've been, I guess, a subscriber for about since what 2013. But click next, if you click exit, then you go to new file, then you go to create. So this is what InDesign looks like. So you have a lot of functions here, like to include shapes, and you can also, if you do Command D, oops, let's exit out of there. If you do Command D, then if you have a photo on here on your desktop, then you can, for example, let's say this is a photo I want to open, and then you can paste the photo in there. But you can do a lot of movement with this program. However, since InDesign can be pricey, and I'm not entirely sure if y'all have access to InDesign on your laptops, or I'm not sure exactly what type of classroom environment it is, we're not going to use InDesign. That will be, if you want me to walk through it, I can maybe have another session. We can do the Q&A and I can show you how to do it. You can follow me, but this is for another session. Now, Photopea, which is an open source software, it kind of looks like this. It mirrors InDesign and Photoshop too. But let's exit out of that. But here's an example of a magazine cover that I have for y'all. Now, the good thing with Canva is that you can insert videos too. So it can kind of be like kind of like how they do augmented reality with covers now, but also it's more interactive, it's more virtual. Now let's go back to this right here. Now, exactly how did I do it? So the first thing is, if you, let's go more, you might not have, there's templates, elements, uploads, text, videos. Now, if you go to more, so I don't have videos here, but I did have videos when I first started because I was just playing around with it. But I have videos here. You can also click on photos as well, and then it will pop up on the left side right here. So you can click and then it will add it for you. You can resize it, reshape it, turn it around as much as you want. But let's go to videos, okay? So this one is for Canva Pro, but they still allow you to use it so you can kind of have an idea of what you want to do. So you click on it, it inserts it for you. Then you want to size it to the page here. So most likely this is an 8.5 by 11. That's the typical size for a letter page for a magazine cover, kind of like the size of your notebook paper. And so now you know that, and also it has the watermark on there. So if you publish it, Canva will know that that it's theirs. And if you want to remove the watermark, you're going to have to purchase it. So this is $5. But also you can upload images as well. So you can upload your own videos, you can upload your own audio and everything. So you don't have to worry about that. So once again, we have the video and it's working and it's great. Now, the next thing is, and I'm moving this out the way to the bottom. Next thing is I have this cover, Sparkle. Now the question is, how exactly did I use Sparkle? So if you click on text on the side, left side, go to Sparkle, and there you go. And you can increase the size if you want to. You can change it around if you want to. But usually with magazine covers, this is called the masthead. Now the masthead kind of tells you the name of the magazine, but also it kind of gives the magazine's personality. So in a way, it's kind of like a logo. But you can, let's say I want to use Anton. You can change it to Anton if you want to. So you can manipulate the text if you want the font, if you want to. Now, if you go to effects, you see the neon glow, that maybe you want to do glitch. You can do that as well. So this is a pre-made effect that you can use, but you can also go in and you can play around with it, mess with it. But you can always use Command Z to press back on it. Now let's see. See, that looks nice. Okay. Now, the next thing is you notice that I have all these titles. So here's the thing with magazine covers. Usually they include titles on the side to tell the reader exactly what is included in the magazine, just to give them a little idea of what's to come. So pretty much what you do is, and it can be in multiple font sizes, different fonts and typefaces, but if you want to be careful and try to get your mindset on just using one font or typeface, I would strongly suggest you could, for example, click on this. And then usually they are on the left and right side. And then you can click here. And then, for example, you can use Anton. So you can modify those fonts. And then let's say, ooh, I like XOXO. You can't use that because Canva Pro, and it has that little crown here on the side. So let's say sweet. Maybe you like the font, but what you could do is, but I don't like the color. So you can modify the color. And then if you look at effects, there's an echo, but you can go to none. And so it won't have the echo anymore. And then you can go to dazzle here. Let's see, cold, smooth, tasty. And maybe, let's look, there is love, peace, joy. And pretty much this is how you would make a magazine cover. Then the next thing you want to do is continue with the text. And let's say I want to make sure that they know what is the publication date. Usually you just have to say December, and then you just put 2022, no, 2021. But since it is November, I guess we could. 2021. And usually this date is just to indicate exactly what is the issue. And sometimes what they do, they can put the issue here. Sometimes they put it on the spine, but usually it can be close to the heading itself. So here you go. And then usually will be like issue. You can do any type of decorative text. So I usually put a line like that. So maybe volume 1, issue 3, okay? Okay. And then maybe you want to center it a little bit, maybe make it a little bit smaller because honestly, people don't really pay attention to it. And if you press play, so it's pretty much easy to make a magazine cover. You just got to make sure, especially with Canva. Now, with let's say InDesign, it takes a little while longer to do it. But also in InDesign, you have a little bit more control. But you can actually add text all the way. I would say give it maybe about an inch or two below the masthead. And so there's your final cover. Now, here's what you need to do. Since this is a poster, don't worry about the image itself because you can also share it as well. So you can go to print poster, and this is how it would look on if you had a movable image. So if you go, I know, the Best Buy and you get one of those photos that you can movable image frames that they have. But if you want to download it, you can do it as an MP4. But let's say you didn't use a video and you used a photo. So you can you can either do PDF standard or PDF print. You choose PDF print, okay? And then you just download. It's waiting to download. Okay, and if you look down in the left-hand corner of my browser, and then oh, actually, that's a pretty good freeze frame. So yeah, and that's your pretty much your magazine cover. Now, here's the thing about PDFs. If you see right here, the November is running into the sparkle. So this is a good reason why you should always turn into PDF. And then with the PDF, then you can see your mistakes. Like even here, you have sweet and confetti. It's not lined up. So you want to make sure that it's lined up. But pretty much that's, in a way, one of the simplest ways to use Canva. Now, let's say I want a photo, okay? Put it there, you resize it. That's nice. So you download it, PDF, and that's usually the suggested one. Wait for it to load. Okay, and then you double click. And then there you go. Still the November because I didn't change it, but I just want to see how this cover will look. So that's actually not bad. And also, if you think about yellow and red, they're warm colors as well. But like I said, pretty much Canva's pretty easy to use. It's and then they have presentations, and then you can also do social media posts. So like I said, if you can't afford Adobe CC, then you have this option. And let's say what graphics. Here's a nice graphic you can put there. They have, I think that is a bull. Okay. Don't know my animals too well. An eagle. Let's see, hippo. Let's see, you have, that looks like a panther. And so you can have a lot of fun with this. And look, they got all different types of photos. So you can get pretty funky with this. Lines, shapes, and then they have themes like Christmas as well. So like I said, the main thing with Canva is you just got to go in and play with it. Because like I said, look, presentations, mobile presentations, brainstorm presentations, game presentations, talk presentations, social media, videos. And then you have office, planner, report, resume. So for those who, if you are a senior, you have an option to have this resume done. But like I said, Canva is a really good source to use and it's for free. Now, here are some things you can do in InDesign. So this is part of my master's project for Moxie. So this was just an example. It's pretty much a not a presentation, a magazine that focuses on strictly women. But for example, here's the editor to the letter to the editor, excuse me, that I created. And all the advertisements are from outside. I didn't create those, but see, you have, health. This is how I did my section divider. In magazines, you always have some type of introduction to a section. And let's see. So you have this right here. Now, if you download this, like I download it to my desktop, and you just minus all of my windows that are open. And we'll go back to that in a second. Go to PDF, then go to View, then Page Display, to Page Viewing. So that means you can see your pages facing. Okay. Now it might be just a little off because of how I designed it. And then also when it comes to display, you want to make sure that enabled scrolling is as well. So what you might have to do is go to page display to page scrolling. It makes it easier and a smoother transition. Now, like I said, it's going to be broken up because the way how I designed this magazine, this is the first page, but because this is an older version of InDesign, it's a little funky. It's kind of a little funky. But you keep on scrolling down, 104 pages. So you have this section divider, keep on going down. Then you have this section right here. This was created through Illustrator as well. And then you have the anti-feminist image here about the Boondocks. Wait, yeah. Boondock Saints. My apologies. But yeah, all of this was done through InDesign. Okay, so you also have this. Oops, going too fast. Now, this was actually one of my favorites, spreads. So in magazines, they're called spreads. If you have like a double page spread, it's 2 pages. But usually a spread, unless it's specified a double, it's about 16 pages so that the magazine's divided into sections. But this is called the Beamer Dream. Yeah, so you can have a lot of fun with InDesign for this one. But since it's a magazine, I mean, you do have a lot of room to design, but it's not like, you're designing a minimalist poster for your class, for an art class. But here's also another example. Now, this is a very early assignment that I had when I was a sophomore in college. So all of this, and I mean, I can even say that some things are, problematic here as well, but all of these 2 ads were designed in InDesign. All this was in InDesign. Same here, InDesign, InDesign. Now, all of these, they were gray backgrounds, they were cutouts. But what I did is pretty much when it comes to doing a cutout, you have to make sure your image has no background at all within it. And this was my very first major assignment that I had to do. But yeah, so it's a fashion magazine. This is actually one of my favorite pages. But it was a 16-page spread. Okay. Now I also have, if you go on to Moxie M&F, now this is an old version. I'm actually updating my website. But I have more information about more images about what you can do with InDesign. So for example, this is the Great Gatsby. This is for Inspire magazine. You can use this all done with InDesign. 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 This is beginning work. So now in terms of what my artwork is currently is, I would say it's much better. Now, same here. This was a poster that I did. It wasn't including the white background. I just converted to an image, but this was one version. And then this was the final version that they had. So yeah, that's one of my favorite posters I've designed before. But if you keep on scrolling down, I have, images about Wimbledon, contests I've entered. This one's pretty neat for one of my friends that was opening her own business. So this was, like I said, this is from 5 years ago. My recent work has not been uploaded on the website yet. But if you want, during the Q&A, I can bring you some more recent work that is more about, that fits more of my, I guess, design aesthetic now, because a lot changes from, so for example, if you see here, copyright 2017, it's 2021, about to be 2022. A lot of these images were created maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, but there are more modern images, modern designs that I have. But see, a lot of this is all designs, pretty much. A lot of it deals with designs. But I'll show y'all some more when I see you December 2nd. But now let's go back to Canva. It was inside. I just want to show y'all what you can do, just little images. And I'll also show you some student work I've done, and I have my students do in their classes too, like what was the beginning projects that they had, and then what was the final projects that they had. And there was a big change in the amount of August, September, October, November, 5 months. But then here's after you download, so do your Canva assignment, then download it as a PDF. Then after you download it as a PDF, okay, then I want you to go on your discussion board that Dr. Zhang created for you, upload your poster, okay? And this will count as attendance for your Thursday class. Now, here's the thing. I want you to think about your thought process, think about your design process. And so when I say that, talk about what type of colors did you use? What type of font did you use? What images did you use? Why did you lay out your magazine cover that way? And you can go as in-depth as you want. You can be as simple as you want. You can do it as bullet points, but we want to know your design process. So the reason why I chose sparkle, because I thought the color yellow and it's glowing. So also because it's kind of Christmas. It was at first going to be a Christmas cover, but then I'm like, well, it's sparkle. So I'm thinking, maybe a magazine that's targeting women from 25 to 35. They're enjoying life, they're living their best life, they're jumping up and down, having fun, and just enjoying it. And also when I saw that video, I'm like, okay, this works perfectly with the title, with the masthead sparkle. And so that's why I had all those, images with, XOXO, and then hugs and kisses, love, peace, joy, certificate completion. We could actually, that was going to change that, turning 22, or, you could do turning 25, or turning 30, turning 35, because you're still young. Because I'm not sure if there's any non-traditional students in the classroom, but you're still young in your 30s. Actually, you're young, you're always going to be young, but yeah. So you can talk about turning 25, turning 30, turning 35, experiencing being young in your 30s, being young in your 20s, 40s, 50s, 60s. But also, this is kind of, since it's in November, getting your readers prepared for holiday season. So here's just a lot of reasons why, explaining exactly what goes into your design aesthetic. Now you also have the glow, because Of course, this magazine would probably feature some type of skincare. And if you look at her skin in terms of it's glowing, you can tell it's healthy. So here's just some examples. Now, what I would, in order to modify or enhance this magazine cover, I would use maybe an image of a Black woman, because when it comes to my designs, I like to focus on Black women. Yeah. And so then after you post it, I want you to reply to at least one student's post and give them constructive criticism. Okay. Don't say, oh my God, that's just a very horrible design. I don't like it. Take it down. No. Why I like your design, you can do the sandwich method. Why I like your design, I like, choose one element. I like the name title of your masthead, but I would maybe choose a different image to go with the title of your masthead. And then end with, but I also like some of the titles that you have on your magazine cover, or I like the color palette that you chose. So these are just, this is just basic design for this activity. And then once again, I'll come back on December 2nd and I can critique your work as well, but also it's going to be Q&A. So I want y'all to have a good day, and thanks for being a great class. And so I will see you soon.